Hello guys, so today I'm going to be giving you a Photoshop tutorial. Now this is the first one I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be making a series out of this, and the first one I'm going to be doing is giving you an introduction to Photoshop if you're new to the program, and maybe a little bit about layers and how they work. So let's go straight ahead and open up Photoshop. Now this is Photoshop, Adobe Photoshop CS. It's not one of the latest versions, but it does the job that I need it to do. And this is on Windows, by the way, so if you're used to seeing this on a Mac, then it will look a little bit different, like the interface and everything and whatnot. So a little quick tip is when you open up Photoshop, if you want to change everything to default settings, so the colors, for example, down here and all the other things, press D on your control pad and you'll notice, or your keyboard, and you'll notice that's gone back to the original color, and all the default settings will have gone back. Now that's D for Windows. I'm not too sure what it is for Mac. For Macintosh. So yeah. Anyway, so this is Photoshop, Adobe Photoshop. Now, if you're new to this, you've got a lot of options to go through, and we're going to go through this step by step. And I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going to give you a load of boring details. I'm just going to show you things that I know how to do and things that may be interesting for you guys out there. So let's just open up something that I've been working on, in particular my portfolio work. So this is one of the things I've been working on. Just load this up. So this is a picture that I've been working on. I took this photo in Paris, and what I wanted to do was there's two photos in this piece of work, and I wanted to kind of lay them on top of each other, but with a bit of an opacity so that it looked quite effective. Now, you may not know what the hell I just said then. That might have been a lot of random words, but I'll take you through it. Okay, so first of all, down on the right hand side of your Photoshop window, you're going to have this toolbox here. Now, this is your layers toolbox. You've got your layers, channels, and paths. So you stick on your layers, and these are my layers. Now, in order, you've got your background at the bottom, layer 1, layer 2, layer 3. Little quick tip, if you want to change your background to a unlockable layer, double click on it and change the name, so we'll change it to layer 1 and press OK. Now this is unlocked and you can play around with the layer. If you don't do that, that layer will be locked. As you notice, there was a little logo down there that made it was locked. That's just a little tip that I've found out from watching other tutorials and learning from actual graphic designers. So if I just take off this layer, now you'll notice this is the normal picture. Now by doing that, you just press this button here, and this will show and obviously hide the layer, and you can do that with all of these layers. Obviously, one thing I'd like to show you is that how they work in order. So layer 2 is above layer 1. So if I remove that, it will take you to layer 1, and if I press that, it will bring up layer 1, and I'll bring this one up, it will cover that. Now this is how they work. So you can drag these around, drop them, and it will change, and you can see, and you can move this around. You know, it's all simple. You can delete layers, you can choose the layer you want to select, and whatnot. So if we just get rid of this layer, we can do that by deleting. You can also change the properties of the layer and the blending options. Now I'll just quickly show you this, just a quick example. So the blending options, there is a lot of things to choose from here. So you've got down here all your options: drop shadow, inner shadow, outer glow, inner glow, bevel, emboss, contour, and so on. Now all of these things used in the correct manner can create a very nice effect on the type of graphic you're making. Now the graphic can be a photo, it can be a banner for a website, it can even be a corporate identity or a logo for your company. Now using these correctly and in a professional manner, you can make some pretty cool effects, and because sometimes people use these and they don't know what they're doing, so that is the whole reason why I've made this tutorial. So if we just close that, now I'm going to delete this layer because I don't need that anymore. Very simple to delete layers. You just right click on the layer and it will come up with delete or duplicate. Duplicating a layer will make a copy of it. If I just show you that, you can duplicate it, change the name and press OK. You'll now notice there is a layer 2 copy there down in the right hand side, and there's layer 1, layer 2. Now I don't need that, so I can delete it. Layer 1 copy. Now this is the copy that I've been looking at. Now this is what I've done. Basically, this image, if I go onto blending options, you will notice the opacity on the general blending options is down. So if I just drag this over into the corner, sorry, just close that a minute. Right, just move this over here and right click, go back up to blending options. Now you'll notice right here that it says 28% opacity. That means what this is at, what this particular layer is at. Now I can drag that all the way down and it will disappear, or I can drag it all the way up and it will become a solid image. Now I wanted to create an effect that would allow it to be seen, but also you can see the background image. And now a vendre is a French word, it means for sale, hence the barcode. There you go, it's a piece of graffiti art that was found on this particular building right in front of you, and this is a piece of work I'm making for my portfolio for when I go to do my foundation course next year in college. There are a lot of things you can do with layers. Layers are the most malleable thing on Photoshop, and that is the whole point of Photoshop. Without layers there would be no reason for Photoshop. So that's basically what I wanted to show you. Obviously there are simple things such as the filters, which I don't recommend using because filters are pretty poor, and usually from a professional standard they wouldn't be regarded as a very good thing to use. It's all about the options that are all kind of hidden, hence the blending options and things that you can do which make your image look better. It depends what you're trying to do really, but it's very simple. Now that is my first thing. You've got your layers, you know, there's a lot of options, there's a lot of things to look at on the screen. Now at first you will be confused, believe me, I was at first, but after some time you'll get used to it. So that was my first thing on layers. Also, before I go, down the bottom here you have a few other options. Now if you press that, it brings out your blending options as I just showed you. There's a lot of different ways to get around, there's a lot of different shortcuts that will be easier for some people. Some people prefer to click on other things. It is your personal preference which always comes into play. Also here you add a layer. Now we can delete that, add a layer mask. Layer masks are a bit more complicated and I'll get onto that in future. You can create a new set which will drop all your layers into one set and it will make it into one flat image. You can control it all and it's just easier to keep track of what you're doing. This right here is a gradient and color quick shortcut, and this is your new layer. Also you can drag and drop to create duplicates, as I just showed you. You can do this and this will create a duplicate layer. It's just another thing you can do, and it just mess around really. So you just have to delete that, and lastly you have your delete layer. Now your history here is also quite important. You can drag up and down here. You can click, if I click this it will go back to my original image, which I don't want to do. And all these, you can go through these, delete them, and basically just mess around with them. This is how you keep track of your work and how you keep track of what you're doing. On the left hand side you've got your toolbox. Now there are a lot of images here, and I will go through these one by one. Today we'll just start off with the basic tool here. Now this is the drag and drop tool. As you can see here, it's just a simple cursor. Nothing much you do with this, it's just a simple cursor. As you see, it changes the cursor, drag it around, whatnot, and functions such as delete and cut and copy work on the Windows keyboard, so that's Control Z, Control C and Control X. That is it for this video. Thank you very much. Keep tuned for the extra Photoshop tutorials that I will be doing, and I will see you guys later.